So the Los Angeles Lakers obviously traded for Luka Doncic a couple weeks back, and we knew from that point forward, every single loss would bring a ton of feedback, a ton of criticism. Every single time Luka had a bad game, people will talk about that. Every time LeBron James doesn't shoot enough shots or score enough points, people would over criticize that part of that game as well. But we're now at the point where Paul Pierce is telling us the Luka Doncic spark is over. Chris Broussard is calling Luka Doncic a ball hog. Check this out here.
Luka Doncic is a ball hog. Watching that game, and I've watched him throughout his career, but that game
put you over the top.
This was ridiculous. What is this? You got all these guys just standing watching you. He took 9 shots in the first quarter.
To me, that's an absolute wild take to have when it comes to Luka Doncic. Luka is one of the top 2 or 3 players in the NBA, and to say he takes too many shots and he's not doing things the right way is absolutely crazy. I almost feel like some of these NBA analysts are also overlooking the fact that the Lakers have not been healthy up to this point. And I almost feel like some of these guys don't watch every single Lakers game, which I think also kind of makes sense as to why they're not 100%, able to back up why the Lakers are struggling, and they're just kind of blaming Luka out there. LeBron James has missed multiple weeks. Hachimura has missed multiple weeks. Jackson Hayes missed a couple of games. To me, when you think about the guys that have missed games up to this point, have the Lakers even had their expected starting 5 guys healthy at any point? Have they, since Luka Doncic has been traded, had the starting 5 unit out there? I'm not 100% sure if they have. So, considering the fact that we don't really know the chemistry aspect of things, we don't even really know the rotation, right? Like, you look at a guy like Dalton Knecht, he really hasn't played a whole lot since both LeBron and Hachimura have been back. Knecht played 4 minutes against the Magic, and that was towards the end of the game when the game was already kind of over. In my opinion, the Lakers haven't really figured out the rotation, and they're still trying to figure that out. And I know there's like 11 games left at this point, so the Lakers need to figure it out sooner rather than later. But the thing is it's going to take time for it to really develop together. Luka told us last week this team hasn't even practiced together yet, right? And they're not going to have a practice until at some point in April when they have a couple of days off. To me, it's wild to say that Luka Doncic is the reason why this team is losing, when in reality, this team hasn't even figured out the rules for every single player. We don't know if JJ Redick is telling Luka that we need you to take 25 shots and we need you to score 35 points a game. We don't know if JJ Redick is saying, hey, LeBron, we no longer want you to control the offense and be the point on the offensive side. We don't know because they haven't been healthy. They haven't been able to figure it out. But what will happen over the next couple of games is the Lakers will try different strategies. They'll go in with a different mindset, a different approach, and they'll try figuring out what's going to work and what's not going to work. When you haven't been healthy to kind of play together, you're going to struggle a little bit. It's just kind of what it is. But to blame Luka Doncic against the Orlando Magic is also kind of crazy to me, because if you think about it, statistically, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reaves, Gabe Vincent were a combined 1 of 15 from the 3-point line. So you might say Luka took 23 shots, he's ball hogging, but what you're not saying is that Luka had multiple plays where he would drive in, he'd get doubled, he'd kick it out to a wide open Austin Reaves or Rui Hachimura, and these guys were missing their wide open shots. And again, it's understandable because some of these guys have been hurt, right? And it does take time for them to develop, right? Luka doesn't really know the way Rui Hachimura is going to rotate. Those are things you kind of learn as you play, as you take minutes together. But it is still kind of crazy to me that people are starting to take shots and call Luka Doncic overrated, right? Because he is not over it. He's one of the best NBA players in the entire NBA, right? And another interesting thing with Luka that I think sometimes gets overlooked is the fact that this guy, when he's on the court, and this is something you have to actually watch the game for, which again, I don't think, and no disrespect to anybody, I don't think every NBA analyst watches every single NBA team. I just think it's really, really impossible to be able to kind of do that. I almost never watch any other team unless it's the Lakers, but one of the things that I noticed while watching these games and rewatching the tape a second time, usually the next day, is that when Luka's on the court, the Lakers offense just flows better. It's better organized, there's more pick and rolls, there's more just general offense being run, and it's well organized. And when he's off the court, the Lakers haven't really figured it out. And again, I think a part of that also comes down to the fact that, LeBron's been out, Rui Hachimura's been out, Jackson Hayes has had his moments where he's kind of missed some time. And I think when Luka's been off the court over the past, 10 games or so, and the Lakers start to struggle a little bit, I think one of the things that we have to realize is at some point, some player will step up and be able to kind of control the ball and continue to make the offense flow right. Rather that's Gabe Vincent, Austin Reaves, LeBron James, someone's going to be able to figure it out. And once that happens, right, and again, it might not be tomorrow, might not be the day after tomorrow, but at some point, someone's going to figure that out. And that's when the Lakers will start to have a little bit more success, and that's when they'll start to win more games. Again, to me, when I watch the tape, when Luka's on the court, the Lakers just are a lot better on the offensive side. The defense is a completely different thing. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Austin Reaves had some interesting words to say about it. But again, to me, calling Luka Doncic a ball hog is an absolute wild take. To me, Chris Broussard is absolutely wrong in that. If I'm JJ Redick and I look at this Lakers roster right now, I want Luka Doncic to score as much as he possibly can. And when he's off the court, I want Austin Reaves, Gabe Vincent, LeBron. I want those guys to control the ball. And, even more so than that, LeBron James is obviously always going to be the number 2 to Luka. It's never going to be the other way around. One guy's 26, one guy's 40. Luka should be what this team should be going forward. It should never be LeBron. And that's not a shot at LeBron. I think he's a phenomenal player, but he's 40 years old. And we've seen it, right, over the last couple of seasons with LeBron. He's not going to give you 100% effort on 100% plays. And it's just what it is. Nothing wrong with that at all. He's still a phenomenal player. The communication aspect of it, all the, IQ points and the little things, LeBron does a really, really good job at. But there was also another update that came out, and I kind of want to get into this one because I think this one definitely is gonna have a huge impact on the Lakers as we kind of go forward. So if you guys don't know this, the salary cap is set to increase by 10% according to ESPN. Teams have been sent a memo. So in a memo sent to teams by the NBA, the league said the salary cap is projected to be $154.6 million. The luxury tax is projected to be $187.9 million. The first apron is $195.9. The second is $207.8. So to me, that's massive, massive, massive positive news for the Lakers because, no matter how you think about the Lakers right now, this team's going to be completely different as we go into next season. There's multiple guys that may not actually be here next season. There's multiple guys that could actually end up getting traded, right? And that's not considering some of the free agents. In fact, let me just pull it up really quickly. We can see right now going into next season, there's 2 guys with player options. LeBron has a player option. Dorian Finney-Smith has a player option. That doesn't include some of the pending free agents. Jackson Hayes is a unrestricted free agent. Alex Lynn is an unrestricted free agent. Not that Alex Lynn matters a whole lot, but Jackson Hayes is really the big one. And then LeBron and Dorian Finney-Smith both have player options. And then more than that, I do think that at some point, I know Austin Reaves signed about a year and a half ago. At some point, this $13.9 million is something the Lakers are going to have to really think about. Because the year after, Austin Reaves is going to have a player option. There's no way he does not opt out. I'd be highly surprised if he ends up playing at 14.8. But would it be wise for the Lakers to potentially redo that contract in this offseason? Or is it wise for the Lakers to potentially trade a guy like Austin Reaves, right? The Lakers are going to have to figure it out. And the thing right now is the Lakers are at $176 million with just the guys that they're going to essentially have on the roster, right? And if you guys look at where that kind of puts them, that's going to put them just a little bit under the luxury tax. The first apron's 195.9. So you can kind of see where that's going to put them right at 176. But we do have to also realize Jackson Hayes is going to want a contract. You might be able to get him extended, but I don't really know what Jackson Hayes is going to want, to be 100% honest. Will he take, 15, 16 million, or is he going to want $30 million, right? Now, I'm not sure if anyone's going to give him that $30 million, but he's been playing really, really well for the Lakers, and I think the thing with a guy like Jackson Hayes is he's a young player, he's a top 10 pick. It's really clicked for him this past season. You know what he was drafted for when he came out of college. This is it, right? He's kind of shown it this season, and I think his best basketball is ahead of him. Jackson Hayes could absolutely get cashed out. Now, $30 million might be way too rich, right? But the guy could end up getting, $15, $20 million. And again, that doesn't include, what if Dorian Finney-Smith says, hey, I'm one of the best defenders in the NBA, or I'm a really, really good defender, right? Which I think he is. And, I can shoot, I can do all the things that I think a team that wants to win a championship can do. I'm going to opt out. I'm going to go get myself 20, 25 million. Because I think he can, right? I think Finney-Smith's one of those guys that can definitely get more than what he's kind of getting right now. At the same time, LeBron James is at almost $53 million. And I think for the Lakers, you have to consider bringing this number down, especially if you want to get out there and bring in a free agent, right? Let's just be honest. The Lakers right now need a guy that can defend the rim. They need a big man. They need a guy that can get down there and defend the rim. I think it's a big part of them being able to win a championship next year. When you moved off of Anthony Davis, you quickly made that trade for Mark Williams. And obviously that ended up falling through. And Jackson Hayes has been one of the reasons why the Lakers have been able to have success. But going into next season, the Lakers are going to have to go out there and bring in one of these other guys. And there's options out there, right? Brandon Ingram's a guy that you could potentially bring in if you're able to get LeBron, maybe take a little bit less money. Jackson Hayes would obviously be gone at that point. Maybe you trade one of the current contracts you have. That might be hopeful thinking. There's other guys, right? Clint Capella's another guy that could potentially fit in with the Lakers. I think he'd cost a little bit less as well. There's options out there for the Lakers if they wanted to target a free agent. But you might even be able to go out there and trade for another guy, right? The Lakers are deep as hell, right? They have guys like Gabe Vincent, Austin Reaves, Dalton Knecht is a huge asset. And Dalton Knecht doesn't even play for the Lakers, which is kind of crazy. Rui Hachimura is another guy who's a very, very solid player. And the thing is, you have 4 or 5 guys that you could easily package up. Not all 4 or 5, but maybe you put 2 guys together. Maybe you trade one of your draft picks. And you can go out there and land a guy that could absolutely make the Lakers a contender going into next season. Not saying they're not a contender this season, but they have struggled at times. And we'll see if they can kind of figure it out as they go forward. But, there is a salary cap update. It is going to go up by 10%, which is going to be positive for the Lakers. And then let's wrap this video up. Austin Reaves talked a little bit about the Lakers needing to communicate better on the defensive side. And I 100% agree with what this guy is saying. He's saying, just paying attention to the details, competing every single possession, and just guarding your guy. We have to do it as a collective group every single possession. We've got to have 5 guys on a string. One of the things I've noticed watching the Lakers is they do struggle at times, right? They absolutely struggle at times on the defensive side. And I think if you watch the Lakers enough, especially over the, since the Luka trade has kind of happened, you watch the last 10 to 15 games, the Lakers struggle on the defensive side. They struggle at times getting offensive rebounds. And I think it's one of those things where, you have a lot of guys that can score on the offensive side, but you have to commit more to the defensive side. And of course, LeBron James, Luka Doncic have to do a better job on the defensive side. But it's not just those guys. Austin Reaves has had moments where he's gotten a little lazy, especially against the Magic. There are moments where I watch this guy get a little lazy. And that's not a shot at any of these guys, right? But I think when it comes to being a good defensive team, team defense is always the way to kind of go. And I feel like, it's not even like, hey, you have to have a true rim protector. Of course, it would be nice. I do think it's one of the things that the Lakers have to get this offseason, right? I think it's going to be a big part of it. But being able to play team defense is still a whole other element to be able to have success, right? The team has to come together. They have to rotate well. They have to be able to switch. They have to be able to help one another and just, play with 100% effort on every single possession. And the thing is you're not going to get a stop on every possession, right? Like, to be honest, 6 of 10 times that someone goes down, you're going to give up those points. But the difference comes down to, are you 7 of 10 or a 5 of 10, right? Every 10 possessions, are they scoring 5, 6, or 7 times? It's going to be the difference. If you get that one extra steal, if you get that one extra block, if you get that, one extra offensive rebound, over the course of the game, that's going to make a huge difference. And I'll just give you guys a quick example using the Magic. In the first half against the Orlando Magic, the Lakers had 10 assists in the first half. Versus the second half, they only had, I think, 8. In the first half, the Lakers had multiple assists and steals and blocks and offensive rebounds. In the second half, they almost had none of those, right? To me, being able to have those high effort plays and, get those steals, get those assists, get those offensive rebounds, those extra possessions, it's a big factor as to being able to have success. And, Austin Reaves is 100% right. You have to be able to communicate with one another because oftentimes that extra offensive rebound or you giving up an offensive rebound on the defensive side, you not being able to get the ball, you not being able to get that extra steal, or you turning the ball over, right? Those are some of the differences in wins and losses, in my opinion. And what Austin Reaves says, he's 100% right. The communication needs to be better. And it's not just on the defensive side. Of course, this title does say it has to be on the defensive side, but it's not just the defensive side, right? You have to do it kind of all around. I think the Lakers will be able to get it fixed, but it's going to start with LeBron being healthy, Rui Hachimura being healthy, and these guys actually playing a couple of games together. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.